let's start, and then we will see if someone else is coming.
Okay.
Okay, well, today is our fourth session. We are in week 4 of our course, and we will start reviewing the things that we need to review for today's session. So first of all, as you already know, we need to talk about the today's program. We're going to talk about the goal of today's session. We're going to talk about also about last week topics or last week matters or subjects. Then we will do a practical activity. In this case, we will review mainly grammar because I think it's important for us to recover the grammar that you have learned this week. Then we will have a space for doubts. We will talk about next week activities, which, as you already know, it's going to be the next unit on Cambridge platform. Then we will do a summing up about the next week activities. And then again, we will have a space for doubts at the end of the class. Okay, so let's start. Today's goal. We will make a general review of the main topics seen in Unit 2 on the Cambridge platform. You already know too that we don't have a specific goal because in the units you revised a lot of topics, so we will try to cover all them up. Okay, let's start with last week activities. Well, the main points, as you know, are vocabulary and grammar. So in Unit 1, you revised important vocabulary. In this case, you revise vocabulary for describing accomplishments, for describing key qualities, the difference between meet and know in introductions, especially with people. And in grammar, you reviewed or you made a general review about tenses. In this case, simple versus continuous tenses. And you also revised some particularities or some characteristics about dynamic and static verbs. Okay, I'm gonna share with you my notes so we can go faster through all of those subjects. Just let me share with you this. Okay. So as I told you then, the main idea here in the unit 2 were about collocations. You learned a lot about collocations. Just let me go to the first unit. We were talking about this. Collocations are words that usually go together. Okay, native speakers used to use those words together. So we have here break a record, face your fear, get a lot of likes, have a sense of humor, rise to the challenge, run a marathon, set a goal for yourself, run a business, take pride in something, tell a joke, win a medal, work with your hands. And those are collocations. That means that always when you want to talk about these kind of things or these kind of actions or these kind of meanings, you need to use these words together, okay? Break a record is the only way or the most common way in which we can say that we do something faster, better, or yes, faster or better than anyone else. Face your fear is also the most common way to say that someone starts to deal with something that that he or she is afraid of. Okay, so those phrases are collocations. In tense, you review simple present versus present continuous, simple past versus past continuous, present perfect versus present perfect continuous. Those were topics from lesson 1 of unit 1. And then in lesson 2, the right candidate, you learned some vocabulary to talk about describing characteristics, or let me go to the presentation, to key qualities, okay, about people. You learn the noun and the adjective. And we were talking about the difference that we need to remember in this case. ambitious, the adjective, ambition, the noun, confident, the adjective, confidence, the noun, creative, the adjective, creativity, the noun, curious, the adjective, curiosity, the noun, and so on. Enthusiastic, enthusiasm, experience, independent, independence, polite, politeness, qualified, and qualification, etc., etc., etc. And then in grammar presentation, you revised dynamic verbs for describing an action in progress or a plan, and then static verbs for describing personal qualities, preferences, and opinions. Okay, and those were the main topics on the first unit. Then we will talk about unit 2, which is the focus of today's session. Just let me go back to the presentation. Okay, here we go. So for today's session, the main topics are these ones. You worked during the last week with Unit 2, the future of food. In this case, we worked on 3 lessons. Lesson 1, menu with a mission. Lesson 2, food you ferment. Lesson 4, cool food. In lesson 1, the main points were vocabulary for describing trends and real conditionals. For lesson 2, you learned vocabulary for preparing food, and in terms of grammar, you revised clauses with after, until, and when. In lesson 4, cool food, you were working with listening skills, pronunciation, and writing skills. In this case, it was a very good lesson, I think, because they covered all the things that they promised in the introduction of the lesson. So in listening skills, you learn how to identify a gist. Well, mainly a gist, because they were talking about how to identify the general topic of a listening, or in this case also in a reading activity or assignment. Then you learn something about pronunciation with the phoneme T in some words. They were talking about silent letters, which means that letters that are in the words, but in the speaking ability, or when we are speaking, we don't pronounce those letters. They are writing, or they are written, but we don't pronounce them. And then in writing skills, you learn some phrases for presenting survey results. Okay, well, in this unit, I think that everything is important, because describing trends and preparing food, we have there some vocabulary that I think can be unknown for some of you, especially for trends. But also, in this case, grammar was very important, because you worked on real conditionals. We are going to talk about something about conditionals. Real conditionals, you were working with what we called zero conditional and first conditional in English. We have more conditionals. We will talk about that in a minute. But in this case, in Unit 2, you work with zero conditional structures and with first conditional structures. And I think this is a very important grammatical feature in this unit. And then in the second part, you learn how to structure a sentence that refers to the future using conjunctions as after, until, and when. And I also think that this is a very important topic, because both real conditional and clauses with after, until, and when have specific characteristics in terms of how to use the verbs inside those sentences, because we have specific combinations of verbs. Okay, so I think that in this unit, I really recommend you to revise and to try to study all the content of the unit, because I think all of them, not only vocabulary but also grammar, is very important for us. Because in terms of vocabulary, for example, in describing trends, we were working again with collocations. Volvimos a trabajar con este asunto de las colocaciones. Okay, words that usually go together to convey some specific meanings, and then the clauses, and then the listening skills, the pronunciation. In lesson 4 mainly, or principally, the listening skills and the pronunciation issues. I think that those were very important topics. Okay, so let's go with the practical activity, which in this case is not going to be exactly a practical activity, but we're going to try to do so. Okay, I will share with you again my summary because I work with vocabulary. Well, no, let's go to the presentation. And first of all, we're going to work with vocabulary. Okay, no, because we only have one student, so let's go with the words. So, in terms of vocabulary, you learned these collocations. Let's go with unit 2 and vocabulary in this case. Okay, vocabulary for talk about trends. Junuen, could you please help me by reading all the vocabulary lists that we have here?
Okay. Be a
Help me with
fact.
the reading, please.
Be a thing of
Which
the
means?
past. Okay. Be a fad, which means to be popular to do, wear, say, etc. for a short period of time.
Exactly. The next one?
Be a thing of the past, to be something that no longer happens or exists.
The next one?
Be all the range, to be very popular.
Uh-huh.
Be fashionable, to be popular at a particular time. Be old-fashioned, do not be modern.
Mm-hmm.
Be on the way out, to be going out of fashion. Be the latest thing, to be very new and fashionable. Be the next big thing, to be a future trend. Be trendy, to be fashionable at the moment. Come back in style, to become popular or fashionable again.
Mm-hmm.
Go out of style, to become less popular or less fashionable. Gain interest, to give more attention to something or to discover more about it.
Mm-hmm.
Gain popularity, to become more popular, to be liked by more people than before. Lose interest, to find something less interesting and give it less attention. Lose popularity, to become less popular, to be liked by fewer people than before.
Okay, did you already know these collocations before you revised the unit 1? The unit 2, sorry?
No, it was new. Everything was new for me. I knew like just a few words, but almost all was new for me.
Almost always new for you. Could you please tell me something about that trend that you know right now? What is trending right now in the world? I don't know, TikTok, Instagram, whatever you like.
I don't know exactly now because my my Instagram doesn't give me doesn't show me trends that are right now.
Uh-huh.
But in the unit I talked about a trend that I saw.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's not trendy right now. I think it's um going out of style,
Okay. Which is one?
and it
Which
was
is
yarn makeup.
okay. Mm-hmm.
You put yarn in your face, and
Mm-hmm.
then you make up like normally, and
Okay.
it's interesting.
Okay. Do you like that kind of trendy topics?
Mm, I think it's fun to watch, but It's not for me. I wouldn't do it.
Okay, did you lose interest quickly in trendy activities or trendy topics or trendy um, ideas or something like that?
Depends how, depends what is quickly.
Okay, like I don't know, 1 day, 2 days, 1 month.
Then, yeah, it's pretty quickly.
Okay, let's go with vocabulary for lesson two because if not, we're not gonna review all the things that I want to revise today. In number two lesson, you learn this vocabulary. I think this was very interesting because first of all, you learn vocabulary for some vegetables and some fruits that are not usual or are not common to find out in our refrigerator or in our fridge. Okay, and also, you learn some vocabulary, especially verbs, to talk about actions in the kitchen or while cooking. That also, again, we have more common verbs, but in this case, they tried to introduce us to the vocabulary that we can find in recipes, for example. Okay, so help me now just with the vocabulary. Don't read the definition.
Okay. Cabbage,
Uh-huh.
eggplant, garlic, ginger, mint, pineapple, shrimp, tuna, zucchini, barbecue, boil, chop, fry, rinse, stir, yolk, and texture.
Again, does this vocabulary is this vocabulary new for you, or did you already know some of these vocabulary in the unit?
In this case was more or less I knew half of them and the other half was pretty
Which
new.
words? Okay, which words were new for you? Were known for you?
I already knew garlic, ginger, mint, pineapple, shrimp, tuna, barbecue, boil, fry,
Okay.
mm, then texture.
Okay, so the other words were new for you.
Yes. Actually,
Okay.
I was wondering what is the name for the white part of the egg, but because they talk about the yolk, but I was like,
But they don't talk
what's the
about
other?
the yes. Let me search because I don't know either. But in this is very specific vocabulary, but like this one. Just let me write it in this one. But
But
is also
oh,
a noun and is obviously the white part of
um,
an egg. Okay, but yolk and but, ¿no? Que sería yema y clara en español. Okay, okay. Do you have any question about the general vocabulary that you revised in the unit?
no.
Okay. Now let's go to the grammar part. Okay. For the grammar part, I searched this image that I think it's very useful for us because, as I told you before, we need to be very careful with this unit because it's very important. The first thing or idea that I want to recover, just let me open the image because I don't have the image here. Uh, I have the page, but I think I need the image, this one, which is conditional types. In the lesson or in the unit, well, in the lesson because you revised a lesson one. In this lesson, you learn only about the zero conditional and the first conditional. And why we know that? Because in lesson number one, you learn conditionals to talk about. Just let me go to the words to say this properly. You learn conditionals for plans and predictions. which were conditionals with present plus future. You learn conditionals to talk about instructions and advice, which were a combination between imperative and present. And then you learn conditionals for general facts, which were present plus present. Okay? In this case, it's important to remember that conditionals are complex sentences. It means that those sentences are composed by two sentences. It's a subordinating relationship because we have the main sentence and we have the subordinated sentence. Okay? Conditionals are one of the most difficult subordinating relationship because we need to understand that condition cannot be alone. Main sentence could be go alone because we can delete the conditional part of the if clause or the if clause, and the main sentence is going to be okay because it means something or it has a complete meaning. But conditional part or conditional sentence or if clause cannot be left out of the sentence. Just let me explain this in the examples. For example, we have here in the zero conditional, if the food is out of date, I don't eat it. If the food is out of date is the condition or is the if clause. And I don't eat it is the result or the main clause. I don't eat it can be alone. Esta oración puede ir sola porque por eso es la main clause, porque tiene un significado completo. It has a complete meaning, okay? But the if clause, if the food is out of date, esta oración no puede ir sola. Es decir, no podemos eliminar la otra parte y esta oración quedar sola. Because its meaning is not completed without the main clause. Okay, this is very important to understand conditionals. And as we have two parts in the conditional sentences, we need to understand that English, as in Spanish, but in this case we are talking about English, has specific structures to create a conditional sentence. We have 6 conditional sentences. The zero conditional, which is explained in the blue charts or in the blue figures. We have the first conditional, which is explained in the red figures. We have the second conditionals. That's why we have here the numbers 1, 2, and 3. The second conditional, which is explained in the green figures. The third conditional, which is explained in the purple figures. And then we have 2 mixed conditionals, which are explained in the yellow figures. This image, I'm going to share with you this image in Blackboard, but it's important that you understand that we have 6 types of conditional sentences, okay? Tenemos 6 tipos de condicionales en inglés. And it's very important for us to remember the structure of those conditionals. A zero conditional, we have here a very useful explanation. Zero conditional is present plus present. And if you remember, when they were talking in Cambridge platform about generally true conditionals or general facts conditionals, they were talking about present plus present. So they were talking about the zero conditional. Cosas que son generalmente verdaderas o hechos en la vida real. Usualmente se utiliza para conocimientos científicos. If the food is out of date, I don't eat it. Porque esto es general. Si la comida está pasada, yo no me la como. Nadie se la come. ¿Vale? Porque es un hecho real. If I drunk, I don't drive. Si yo he bebido, yo no conduzco. También esto es, usualmente esto es verdadero, ¿vale? Pero por eso utilizamos la condicional cero. Pero tenemos ejemplos más evidentes en donde se nota esto de scientific facts, sorry. If you heat water, it boils. Si calientas agua, hierve. If you heat ice, it melts. Si calientas hielo, se derrite. Es para eso que utilizamos las zero conditionals. And also in this zero conditional group, we include the ones we use for giving instructions and advice. Because in those cases, we use imperative plus present. If you are cold, put on your jacket. Si tú sientes frío o estás frío, ponte tu chaqueta. Utilizamos el presente más el imperativo. Y ahí estamos hablando de la zero conditional. Then, in the first conditional, we have simple present plus future. What does it mean? We use those conditional to talk about a probable event happening in the future. Un evento probable que puede pasar en el futuro. ¿Vale? Y esto es lo que nos decían aquí en la unidad when they were talking about plans and predictions. Present plus future. And here we have that in the examples. If you study, you will pass the exam. This is a prediction. We know that if you study in the present, you will pass the exam in the future. Sorry, because of that. If he doesn't call you, tell me immediately. Well, in this case, they are using the imperative. Let's go with the next example. If you've come to class, the exam is going to be easy. Again, a prediction or a plan. In this case, it can be like in the middle. Si tú has venido a las clases, el examen será fácil. And in this case, you can also see in the charts that we don't only use simple present. We can use a simple present continuous or present perfect, and then you can use the future. And you can use the future with will, or you can use the future with going to. Okay? Why this is very important? Because in this unit, you only learn things about zero and first conditional. But you need to be aware that you also have second conditional, third conditional, and mixed conditionals. Very quickly. A second conditional is to talk about present or future hypothetical or unreal situations. And we also have here a very specific combinations of verbs. In the if clause, you need to use simple past or past continuous. And in the result clause or in the main clause, you need to use an auxiliary plus the infinitive. You can use would, could, or might plus the infinitive. And this means these sentences means something similar to Spanish sentences. Let me just translate so we can see the similarity. If I won the lottery, I would buy a yacht. Si yo ganara la lotería, me compraría un yate. Tanto en español como en inglés significan lo mismo. Ninguna de las dos situaciones, ni la condición ni el resultado, son reales en el presente. Las dos son hipotéticas. Si yo ganara la lotería, if I won the lottery, pero no la he ganado, y es muy poco probable que la gane. Entonces la causa, o más bien la condición, es hipotética. Lo mismo que el resultado. I would buy a yacht. Yo compraría un yate. Ni en español ni en inglés el resultado tampoco es real. Entonces aquí tenemos que los dos elementos son situaciones hipotéticas tanto en el presente como en el pasado. No pasa lo mismo con la condicional 0 y con la condicional y con la primera condicional, ¿vale? If you were talking, I could concentrate. If you weren't talking, I could concentrate. Again, none of the sentences explains or conveys are real situations, okay? All of them are hypothetical situations. If I were you, I might wait before making a decision. Again, a hypothetical condition and hypothetical result. Third conditional is to talk about past hypothetical or unreal situations. I like to say that this is the most unreal conditional structure. Ajá, es la estructura condicional más irreal de todas. Why? Because third conditional refers to the past. As we cannot change the past is fixed. This conditional refers to hypothetical situations that could have led to hypothetical results. Okay, hypothetical situations in the past that could have led into hypothetical results in the past, in Spanish. Situaciones hipotéticas en el pasado que hubieran podido llevar a resultados hipotéticos en el pasado. And here again, we have a very specific combination of tenses. Past perfect or past perfect continuous plus would, could, might, and have plus past participle. We have here some examples. If you had come to class, you would have passed the exam. Si hubieras venido a la clase, habrías pasado el examen. But you didn't come to class, so you didn't pass the exam. So the past, you cannot change the past. Okay? If I hadn't been wearing the helmet, I could have died. Si yo no hubiera utilizado el casco, podía haber muerto. But I did wear the helmet. I did wear the helmet, and I didn't die because I wear the helmet. Ajá. Lo que sí sucedió es que yo utilicé el casco y por lo tanto no morí, ¿vale? Eso es lo que ya no se puede cambiar en el pasado. We will not talk about mixed conditionals because they are kind of difficult to understand. But to manage mixed conditionals, we need to learn how to use second and third conditional because mixed conditionals are combinations of second and third conditionals. Okay, so I really think that this is very important for you. Probably not to learn all the conditional types or the conditional sentences in this level, but just to be aware that we have more conditional sentences. Because after B1 level and after B2 level, the ideal situation is that you master all the conditional sentence. Okay? At the end of B2 or of a B2 level course, you need to master all the conditionals and the modals. But in this case, conditionals are really, really important. Okay. In this point, I would like to ask you: do you have any questions about conditionals in this case? Even you can ask in Spanish because I know that this is a very difficult topic. Es uno de los temas más difíciles en un nivel B1 y B2, las condicionales, porque tenemos un montón. So I don't know if you have any questions about the image that I'm just sharing with you.
No, I'm fine, thank you.
Okay, the other classmates, Damaris, María del Rocío.
I just got into class. I couldn't be here before. I think I have to practice. I will actually use, I don't know, like examples to practice for later.
Yes, conditionals are very important and we need to practice them. Okay, well, this was about conditionals. And the other topic that you learned in this unit, as I told you at the beginning of the class, I think this unit was very important. Not just because of the collocations in terms of vocabulary that you learned in the unit, but also because of grammar. First of all, conditionals, and then other structure that you learned in this unit, which was, just let me go to the, yes, this one. I hope this is opened. No. Okay, my idea was to do some exercises here. We're gonna go there, but we have here another structure which were structures with when, after, and until. to talk about situations in the future. Again, in this case, we also have a subordinated relationship between sentences. Ok, como en las condicionales tenemos otra vez esta relación de subordinación. Remember that in conditionals we have two sentences, the main clause and the if clause. And in this case, again, we have two sentences, the main clause and the when clause or the after clause of the until clause. And again, in this unit, you revised the structure of this subordination complex sentence. Okay, so we will work with this right now. So let me share with you the link of the presentation so you can help me with some examples. Because I really want you to practice at least with one sentence, so we can revise the grammar of the conditionals and of the time expressions in this case, or the time conjunctions. So please, I share with you the link in the chat. If you can go to the document, so you can help me with the examples. And we will go first of all with conditionals, okay? So, Damaris. Damaris, are you here? Damaris, could you please help me with a generally true conditional? Could you please write a generally true conditional? Whichever you have in mind, ¿ok? Cualquiera que se te ocurra. Una condicional que signifique algo generalmente verdadero. A generally true conditional. And Maria del Rocio, could you please help me with a conditional that conveys a mean of instruction or advice? And Junwen, help me with plans and predictions, conditionals. If you could please write down or write in the presentation an example. Damaris, generally true conditional. Maria del Rocio, instructions and advice conditional. And Junwen, plans and prediction conditional, please. Yes, I give you access.
I can't too.
Ah, okay. Yes. I just know what. Okay, now can you edit the document? Okay, help me,
Yes.
please. Remember, Damaris, generally true. Maria del Rocio, instructions and advice. And Junuen, plans and predictions. Junuen, thank you very much. Maria, Damaris, are you here?
Yes, I'm here. I cannot write.
Okay, write it in the chat.
Okay.
Okay, generally true. If you don't study for the exam, you can fail. It is possible. But in this case, I think it would be better if you don't study for the exams or for exams in general. You can fail them. You should wear a coat when it's cold. Okay, you should wear a coat, in this case, coat, I think, when it's cold. Okay,
Yes, I'm
instructions
not
on
too
that.
good at writing.
Okay,
I
okay,
think you should wear a coat when
coat,
it's
exactly.
cold.
Which is this word, coat. Okay, coat. Now let's go with the other. Well, in this case, it's okay. You should wear a coat when it's cold. But remember that for instructions and advice, we prefer to use the imperatives, the imperative condition. You wear a coat if you are cold. Okay, wear a
Oh,
coat
wear a
if
coat
you
if you're
are
cold.
cold. Exactly. Also, you need to be very careful with that because yes, for conditionals we can use if or when. Okay, but you have to be very careful because with when we have the slightly different meaning. So usually when we are talking about conditional structures, we use if. Okay, so be careful with when. But thanks a lot. Let's go with the next
Okay.
exercise so we can go to the presentation. When, after, and until. Again, uh, remember the combination of the verbs. Damaris help me with when. Maria help me with after, and Junwen help me with until. You have there the combination present plus future, but in which case do we use present, and in which case do we use future? Which is going to be very easy because we have, remember, two sentences. One of them is in present, in simple present, and the other one is in simple future. Damaris when, María del Rocío after, and Junwen until. Until. Until she finishes her homework, she cannot go to the party. Okay, that's a good sentence. When and after, please, if you can help me. I'll take you to the park after you finish your homework. Excellent. Remember that in this case, the main clause is going to be in future or is going to use a modal. And the when, after, or until clause is going to be in simple present. Okay, so we have here two examples. Until she finished her homework, she cannot go to the party. Or I'll take you to the park after you finish your homework. We are still missing the when sentence. So Damaris, please, could you please help me with when sentence? If you practice English every day, when you talk to people, it will be easier. Exactly. If you practice English every day, when you talk to people, it will be easier. Okay, exactly. When you talk to people, we have here the simple present. It will be easier. We have here the simple future. Okay, so I think this is a very important unit because of that. In grammatical terms, the combinations in the zero conditional and first conditional, and the combination of the verbs in the sentences with the conjunctions when, after, and until. Okay, I will share with you some materials in Blackboard platform so you can revise all the information that we just talked about in this session. But for now, I think that's it for the practical activity. Okay, any questions about the vocabulary or the grammar that you have revised in this unit, in the first unit, in the second unit? Sorry. questions, doubts about the vocabulary or the grammar?
Only for the grammar? Questions for the
Mm-hmm.
grammar?
Mm-hmm.
No, with the grammar I'm okay.
Okay. With vocabulary?
Uh, mm, with vocabulary I'm okay, but my question is with the pronunciation.
Okay. Tell me.
Um, the T sound. I
Yes.
think in Spanish it's like, t, but I'm not sure how it sounds in English.
In English. Well, in English, it's very difficult for us, ¿ok? Es muy difícil para nosotros, porque ese sonido nosotros no lo tenemos en español, ¿vale? Nuestra T, bueno, aquí habría que decir que cuando les están hablando de la pronunciación de la T en la unidad, les dicen que la T no se pronuncia cuando sigue una consonante, pero sí se pronuncia cuando sigue una vocal. Por eso, cuando decimos, do you want me, por ejemplo, do you want me, y después sigue la M, do you want me, esa T no se pronuncia. I'm going to write the sentences in the chat, okay? Okay, so in this case, the T is not going to be pronounced. But if you say something like, did you got it? Or did you get it in this case? The T is going to be pronounced because after the T we have the vowel, ¿ok? Entonces, si tenemos una consonante, la T no se pronuncia. Si tenemos una vocal, la T se va a pronunciar. Ahora, la diferencia con el español es que nuestra T está en los dientes. Tito, topo, trece. Cuando ustedes pronuncian esas palabras, la lengua se va hacia los dientes. Para nosotros es muy difícil, ¿vale? Yo recomendaría que si lo pueden ir practicando, lo practiquen, pero ténganse paciencia porque es difícil. La T en inglés, la lengua se va hacia la parte trasera de los dientes. Ellos no pronuncian, ellos no dicen to be with you. Ellos dicen to be with you, to be with you. Y la T que ellos están pronunciando se pronuncia, si ustedes tocan atrás de sus dientes, van a sentir un borde. Es ahí donde ellos ponen la lengua para pronunciar la T. ¿Ok? Ta, ta, ta. No sé si eso resuelve tu duda.
Sí, entonces, ¿cómo pronunció el want? Es que yo lo
Well, in
digo
this
como
case,
want, entonces no sé, creo que que hago al final está mal, de acuerdo a lo que dice
sí,
la unidad.
exactamente. Ajá. En este caso sería, do you want me? Do you
You
want
want
me?
me.
Sería algo
Okay.
similar a esto. Do you want me? En el chat, do you want me?
Okay.
Ujú. Con la otra, en la otra oración, sí tendría que ir la T. Do you get it? Get it? Porque tenemos la vocal. Si tenemos una consonante después de la T, esa no se pronuncia. Si tenemos una vocal después de la T, esa T sí se pronuncia. Por eso en el primer caso sería, do you want me? Y en el segundo caso sería, do you get it? ¿Sí?
Sí, gracias.
Okay. Okay. Okay,
Maestro,
if you don't have any questions, ajá.
¿eso aplica para todo, por ejemplo, el inglés británico?
Sí, sí, en el
Mm.
inglés británico también aplica. Ujú. Do you
Es que
want
ve
me?
que
Do you get it? Solamente que ahí tienes que tener cuidado con la T antes de las vocales, porque en inglés usualmente la T antes de las vocales se parece a una R. Por eso ellos dicen water en el inglés norteamericano. Water. Do you get it? En inglés británico, tú vas a escuchar, do you get it? Water.
o- sí. Ajá.
Ellos,
Luego ellos dicen
ajá,
botella de agua,
ujú.
¿no? Que lo dicen así muy.
Bottle of
algo así.
water. Bottle of water. Of what? Water. Water. Porque ellos van a pronunciar la T como la pronunciaríamos, no nosotros, porque la T está en donde les digo. Entonces ellos dicen bottle of water.
Ya.
Water. Of water. Y en el caso de la oración que tenemos aquí, do you get it? Get it. Get it. Porque en inglés británico sí van
Ellos
a
sí la
pronunciar
pronuncian.
exactamente. Y en inglés norteamericano vas a escuchar, do you get it? Water. Van a ser como una R. ¿Sí?
Ya.
Entonces sí hay una
Es que en
diferencia.
las unidades a veces vienen.
Sí,
Sí.
ahí sí va a haber una diferencia.
Es que en
¿vale?
las
Sí va a haber.
unidades a veces vienen audios, o sea, vienen audios con acento norteamericano y con acento
Sí.
en inglés. Vaya,
Británico.
Inglaterra, vienen como ahí de los dos.
Sí, y ahí sí hay una diferencia. Aquí ustedes tienen que decidir con cuál se quieren ir, ¿vale? Porque sí recomendaría que se enfocaran en practicar el que les interesa. Si es el inglés norteamericano o el inglés británico. Yo sí he practicado más el británico, por eso a mí me sale más, do you get it? Water, ajá, en lugar de do you get it? Water, ajá. Sí hay una diferencia. Entonces ahí la recomendación sería que ustedes decidieran y se enfocaran en cuál de los dos acentos comenzar a practicar, ¿vale? Okay, let's go because if not, we're not going to finish the session. Okay, for next week activities, remember that you need to solve the unit 3, what's it worth? You have to do or you have to answer 2 activities. The general activity, which is students course, unit 3, what's it worth? And the unit 3 progress test. So you have 2 activities. Each of these activity is worth 0.80. So at the end of the week, you need to gain 1.60 points. Okay? In Spanish, tenemos que resolver la unidad 3. 2 actividades. La actividad general, Students Course Unit 3, What's It Worth? Y la unidad y el Progress Test de la unidad 3, ¿vale? Cada una de estas actividades vale 0.80 puntos y al final recibimos 1.60 puntos. The due date of this activity is going to be April 7th, 2025. El lunes, abril 7 de este año, ¿vale? Y recuerden, tenemos hasta las 3 de la mañana para resolver estas actividades, ¿vale? Okay, important, again, you need to remember, units are larger than they seem to be, so you need to program or you need to organize your time so you have enough time to answer the unit. I don't have access to all your answers. You already know that. I only have access to the speaking or writing part. And I also wanted to say that please be patient with me. I'm scoring your activities. I didn't expect that you were a lot of students. Son demasiados. So I received for each unit 53 activities or 56 activities. ¿Ok? Por cada unidad estoy respondiendo 56 actividades. La unidad 2 tiene 3 actividades. Por su grupo nada más, recibí 160 actividades. ¿Vale? Entonces, ténganme paciencia, las estoy calificando, pero son un montón. ¿Ok?
Sí,
so
profe.
please be patient with me. But I'm scoring your activities. Scores are generated automatically. You already know that. You must have activated Cambridge platform from Blackbird. Again, you already know that. And I don't think that anyone has any problem with this part of the Cambridge platform information, because if not, I have already received some message about this problem. Have you had any problem with Cambridge platform until this point?
No, not. I don't.
No? Okay,
I haven't.
everything is okay. Okay, thank you very much. So, summing up, I just did this in Spanish, so I don't think we need to make a summary about this. Remember, again, unidad 3, 2 actividades, la general y el progress test, cada uno vale 0.80 puntos y al final recibimos 1.60 puntos, ¿vale? Any questions about the activities that you need to deliver for next week?
No.
No?
No.
No, thank
Okay. Remember, academic integrity. I showed at the beginning of the course my summaries about Unit 1 and Unit 2. I also recommend that you create those kind of summaries, but remember that that information is just for you, okay? Don't share that information with anyone. Don't share that information through any social media or through any media in the internet. So please keep that information for you because we don't have the copyright. Okay, so be careful with that because that's academic integrity for this course. And if you don't have any questions, thank you so much. And we will see us again next week on Friday. Okay,
you. Good
thank you very
night.
much. Good night. See you next Friday. Bye bye.
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 Bye. Thank you.
Bye bye. Thank you. Thank you so much. Bye bye.